I would have to say that many of the best memories that linger for me from our travels have to do with the various interesting people we've met along the way.
For me, it was the mountains, especially the effect of the runoff from glaciers, which causes the water to turn these amazing brilliant tones of turquoise, blue, and milky white.
This video highlights one of those interesting folks that we met. His name is Fred Tober. We came across Fred and his interesting looking van as we were just entering the very quaint little place called...
Ladies and gentlemen, the Traveling Wildberries.
Osoyoos, British Columbia.
Many of the small towns and cities in this mountainous area are nestled in a basin surrounded by the mountains. This means that a journey to these areas often begins with a climb up one side of the mountain range to a plateau and then a curvy descent into the basin where the town is located. A descent which can be a little spooky when you think of the purposefully created runaway lanes, which are there in case anything were to go wrong during the very steep sections of the road.
Let's just say, it's nice that those runaway lanes exist, but one would not want to be the one to have to test how well they work.
As we reached the plateau, in this case, before the beginning of the S-shaped descent into the town, we came across these various communities where the folks on the hill, so to speak, live. These various communities have their entrances marked by various types of symbols which represent their area. This one, a Bigfoot-looking character, caught our attention, so we stopped to have a look.
Then, just past the precipice, we came across the official town sign overlooking the town below.
We made our way down the slope into the town with no issues, being sure to keep a balance between not going too fast but also not riding the brakes too much so they wouldn't heat up.
Once down into the basin, we sauntered past a few fruit and wine markets and continued on down the main road till we came to this beautiful open section which had the open water on both sides. This seems like a great place to stop and rest for a moment, plus we saw this interesting looking van there as well, which caught our attention.
We parked the RV and walked around a little while checking out this interesting looking white van, which was parked right behind us.
Just then, this fellow, who looked like a character that came straight out of a storybook, came walking towards us smiling and saying, "Well, hello there," in a friendly tone.
Well, hello there. It's been a long, long time.
He shared his story about how he ended up decorating his van, as you see it, and how he sings and plays country music in bars in order to support his travels.
He tried to flog a copy of his, as he called it, latest CD, but we decided against taking the offer at the moment.
We chatted for a bit longer, then scouted this beautiful scenic area a bit before heading on further down the highway. An interesting character indeed.
Our time slips away.
Once we got to the end of town, we turned around and went back so we could get off the main highway closer to where we came in order to check out the more interior areas.
This turned out to be a good idea since we came across one of the nicest beachfronts in this town.
We parked the RV and set up shop on the beach a few feet away. Oh, did I mention it was almost 100 degrees? Yeah, this town, being in a basin the way it is known for being a very hot spot. Hence the greeting on the welcome sign. Did you notice it?
We swam and chatted and had lunch. Then a bit later we moved over to the park area, about a block away, to make use of the picnic table so we could fire up the barbecue. We basically spent the whole day in this area.
never know.
After supper, we sat around till it started getting dark, and then packed up the RV to go in search of our overnight spot.
I remember what I told you.
We drove down to the spot where we met Fred earlier, but didn't see anything en route that looked viable. So we turned around and went back to a spot that I had noticed earlier, which was not far from the beach. This seemed like it might be a good option. Turned out it was perfect. No parking signs, and not directly connected to any particular building or residence.
The next morning, Ken happened to check the camera footage as he was curious about some sounds he had heard the night before. It would seem that we caught a meteor streaking across the night sky. Notice in the right-hand upper corner just after the car turns.
We had some breakfast and then went for a long walk, steps, through town and across the bridge. We found a huge park with the sign saying, "Come and join us for music in the park later today."
We walked back to the RV, then drove over to park closer so we could check out the music later on.
Once we got parked, we discovered the beach at the other side of the same lake, which was just as beautiful. The only slight issue on this side was that we had to carry our beach chairs and cooler a bit further distance, as the parking was further away. No biggie.
After a swim and some lunch, we watched this guy whooping it up at the public piano. He was pretty good. We then just relaxed till it was time to head over to the bandstand area.
We positioned our chairs and enjoyed the music of the band called Uncorked. It was quite good. They covered a bunch of different bands and different music with a good range. Then, after the show, we went for yet another long walk.
Steps.
Around town. Check out this quirkiness.
Very quirky, and yeah, that was a long walk. Once we got back to the RV, we drove over to a spot that Ken picked out for the overnight and basically went straight to sleep. We're so old.
No, we just walk a lot.
In the morning, we packed up and then checked the highway closure situation for Highway 97. Turns out there were still issues with road closures due to wildfires, so we decided to carry on down the Crow's Nest Highway. A beautiful drive, but talk about extremes. Up 2,000 or 3,000 feet, then down 1,000 feet, then back up again through the mountains. Wow.
Yes, wow. And this is where we came across these two fellas who were traveling across Canada on their bicycles. Pedal bicycles. They had begun their journey in...
Oh wait, this is a really good story which includes a really nifty overnight spot where we met them, so be sure to come back to check that out in the next exciting video.
Ciao for now.